Good morning, I'm Dr. Kemi Omololu Olunloyo from Ibadan, Nigeria. It's June 1st, 2019, and I want to thank everybody for all your support this week. I want to thank a lot of young people who donated to my medical fund to get me treatment that I need outside the country at Health City in Dubai. My condition is not a very light one. For example, this morning it's 6 a.m. and I feel very relieved to just get up, but I didn't really sleep well. Sleeping is a nightmare for me. When it's nighttime and it's getting dark, I feel like my horror is just about to begin. I was brought into SARS in the evening and I watched people executed. I saw a lot of blood, I saw a lot of suffering, and I saw a lot of families who came there to check for their young men who were arrested. And the police will constantly tell them they're not here. Check in the prison. They're not in the prison. They were executed. I have been telling you that I'm going to write a book about my experience in Port Harcourt Maximum Prison, in my case, and all. But I haven't been able to have the strength, motivation, energy to write that book. But it is God that directs my way, because when you really look at it, if I had written the book in 2017 or 2018, the new information that came out would have really been a mess because I wouldn't have been able to add it to the book. And this is the reason why I'm thinking of writing it as an ebook that I can continue. The information about Iyabo Ocho, the information about the letter that sent me to prison coming from her phone. And nobody has been able to take responsibility. Her PA, who they say carry that phone a lot, has denied even writing that letter, let alone sending it. The fake account that took me to prison was opened from that phone. For me personally, I have already concluded that Iyabo Ojo wrote the letter. They're not allegations anymore. I am very hurt. I am very sad. A lot of people did not donate to that fund in 2018. And my friend, the Sahara reporter, Yeli Showere, who even promoted it, said that all the donations I got were probably just from the people who loved me, that many people could have donated, but they don't like me. They don't like my work. They don't like the truth. So they don't like Kemi. But I thank Yeli and Sahara for always, taking my back. That money was left in a U.S. account on GoFundMe. I can't touch it. However, those that sent money to First Bank in 2018, I used it for psychotherapy. Psychotherapy can cost up to $50,000 a week, and that's one session. I used that money to take medications. And when I say medications, we're not talking about psychiatric medications. There is one drug that's called diazepam, and all it is an anxiolytic for anxiety. I get massive panic attacks. These things I'm telling you, if you're not familiar with them, you can Google them. You're on the internet. Panic attacks. The fear that I'm going to be executed next. If you listen to my interview on Star FM Lagos this week, I'll post it today, you would notice that I spoke about waking up and going out to the balcony and looking at the gate and seeing officers there about to break the gate down to come and get me. I relive my nightmares. Sometimes I see an officer killing someone with blood everywhere. I relive these things I saw at SARS. And my son comes and says, "Mommy, there's nobody there. There's no blood. Nobody can see what I see." I live post-traumatic stress. PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, happens to a lot of people. It came to light in the military, people that go to war. People that have their friends next to them with machine guns shooting the enemy suddenly saw their friend shot by the enemy right in front of them. Many people in war come back home suffering from PTSD. The case of Dr. Nidal Hassan is a sad case in America. Fort Hood Army Barracks. A psychiatrist has to go to war with the army. He sees that too. When they're injured at war and they bring them in for treatment to save them, to also give them counsel, and they're going back to kill more people the next day in the war, the psychiatrist also gets affected by the stories the troops are telling him. And so with that said, Dr. Nidal Hassan and the troops came back from the war, and I believe it's the Afghanistan or Iraq war. One day in his office at the Fort Hood Barracks, he took a shotgun, machine gun, and he opened fire. He shot 45 people. 13 of them died, military. At the end of the day, Dr. Nidal Hassan had to be shot to stop the rampage. Today he's paralyzed and he's sitting down in a federal prison awaiting execution. He was court-martialed and he got the death penalty. But the media in America spoke about the PTSD that ravaged Dr. Hassan. They talked about how PTSD affected him, post-traumatic stress disorder, an army psychiatrist. There's been many veterans in the army in Nigeria that haven't gone to war, and there are many that have gone to war. Look at what General Theophilus Danjuma said, the graduation in Taraba State, from nowhere, a man that has been to war and a man who is in charge of almost every coup in Nigeria. General Danjuma killed my uncle. General Theophilus Danjuma came here, up there to the government house. The government house is right here on the hill from my bedroom. And he abducted the head of state of Nigeria, General Ironsi, and the governor, my uncle, Adekunle Fajuyi, in 1966. After kidnapping them, he took them into the bush, tortured them, and shot them both. This is Nigerian history. You need to go and read it. After they were killed, the coup and all these different things happened. 50 years later, General Danjuma is standing at the convocation of Taraba University, and he said in front of the nation on live TV, the army and the police collude together to kill you, the people. If you don't take care of yourself, they will kill all of you. To our shock, we saw that. General Danjuma has killed people in the name of being army, but is he suffering PTSD plus old age? I want you to learn more about post-traumatic stress disorder. It's not a mental illness, it's a mental disorder. It's a difference. Even the psychiatrists and the category they use, DSM-3, to classify mental disorders and mental illnesses, trauma itself is not a mental illness. Trauma is a human experience. After SARS, they took me to the prison and I saw even worse. One inmate bit the other inmate's ear off. One inmate was fighting, they slipped in the shower and he died. Becky died next to me, a pregnant woman. There was no help. I want you to help me. Many of you, Malians especially, I notice that when you send me 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 5,000, Malians are signing from a lovely Malian, Auntie Kemi. But some of you can send more money than the Malians, but you refuse because you hate me. One day I'll be gone and then you write RIP. It's not what I want. Thank you for listening.